There's a 700,000 person hole in our democracy and it needs to be fixed. If you are truly for American values, if you are truly for smaller government and a government that is better when it's closer to the people, if you are truly for ending taxation without representation for everyone, then you have to be for DC state. DC should become the 51st state because there is only one way to ensure that the population of DC, our culture, our history, our society, achieves full and equal representation. In 2014, I was Mayor Bowser's campaign manager, and I learned the district in a new way. Pieces of it that I had never seen before, communities I had never experienced, neighborhoods I didn't know existed. That really is when it sunk in for me, about how much impact our lack of representation and our lack of statehood really has on the day-to-day.
I will not yield, sir. The District of Columbia has spent 206 years yielding to people who would deny them the vote. I yield you no ground, not during my time. You have had your say, and your say has been that you think that the people who live in your capital are not entitled to a vote in their house. Shame on you.
My own family has lived in D.C. since my great-grandfather, Richard Holmes, as a slave, walked away from a plantation in Virginia and made his way to D.C. almost 200 years ago. Richard Holmes made it as far as D.C., a walk to freedom, but not to equal citizenship so far for our family. Congress can no longer exclude D.C. residents from the democratic process. With Democrats controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House, we have never been closer to statehood.
People throw around language about things being unconstitutional without really spending much time looking at the Constitution or the history. Here, it's very, very straightforward. 37 other states have been admitted this way.
My husband and I opened this on August 22nd, 1958, when I was 24 years old. I'm now 87. We didn't have statehood then, and we don't have it 62 years later. We started in 1958 when just coming, well, it was really still a segregated city. So I've seen the city become integrated. I've seen Dr. Martin Luther King bring 250,000 people here in 1963 March on Washington because African Americans were not being treated just as they should have been. Well, yes, we're still fighting for that, but I think it is what it is. We will continue to fight.
Not being a state and working with an area that's a district, the funding was not as readily available as other states. That we had to wait for federal to make decisions and to give us the equal monies that they were giving other states. So I think it's important for people to realize that when you don't have statehood, what's normal to another state, we don't have that here.
I'm so pleased and so impressed with the young people that have been out there this past season fighting for our rights. Back in the civil rights movement, we had strong nonviolent leadership. Today, young people are out there doing it on their own.
Our country was founded on the principles of no taxation without representation, which is why we became a country. And so if we're going to live up to those ideals as a country, that means we have to live up to those ideals as a democracy.
I literally had to, like, okay, get a bill in the mail every time. Even if the ER, doctor's appointments, there was no one that you could consult with. And even if you went to the social services building, you would fill out an application, and that was it.
And how did that make you feel?
Like I didn't exist. Like me and my kids didn't exist. Like we had no way to turn to or no one to even talk to it about it.
For me and my family, who were DC residents at the time, we did not have a vote on that matter. And the call to action was call your senator. We had shadow senators, and to me at that point, I realized I lived in the shadows of democracy.
I mean, Congress is not going to be paying attention to local health issues. You know, for example, how does the District of Columbia deal with public health issues? I mean, they might get involved, but only to the extent that they're going to grandstand.
Just a little over 56 years ago, African Americans didn't have full voting rights in their democracy, and 56 years later, DC residents still do not have voting rights in their democracy. So that's a problem. It's a racial justice problem. It's a racial justice fight.
DC residents have spoken clearly. 4 or 5 years ago, we went to the ballot and 86% of people said, we want statehood. With a clear defined constitution, clearly defined boundaries, the DC people just need what everybody else has. The right to elect our own leaders, have our voices heard, and make our own decisions for how we govern ourselves.